So Health Canada has just approved Moderna's updated COVID vaccine, and yes, we're talking about COVID again. What do you need to know? So we stopped talking about it, but COVID never went away. We are in a late summer wave of COVID. If you look at some of the wastewater data and some of the test positivity data, it's estimated that we're having as many cases now as we had in the Omicron wave of 2022. So we haven't had this many cases in a long time. And anecdotally, you will hear about people getting sick and some people who bothered to testing positive for COVID. And yes, just like many things in nature, the virus evolves and changes, and we have still part of the Omicron family, but offshoots of the Omicron family that have changed in various ways to enable the virus to escape some of the immunity that we have in our population, but also mutations that enable the virus to bind more tightly to our cells, which may make it more contagious. So for that reason, because the virus has evolved, the vaccines must evolve with the virus. We now have approval for the Moderna in Canada. Pfizer will soon follow, and Novavax hopefully soon after that. And we're going to start getting doses, and people will be able to get their updated COVID shot around the time of flu shot, hopefully early to mid-October, and you can actually get both shots at the same time. The recommendation for getting your updated COVID shot is strongest in people who are more vulnerable, so people who are 65 plus, pregnant women, people with underlying health conditions, chronic diseases, or weak immune systems, people who live in nursing homes or other congregate settings, First Nations Canadians. These are all the groups at the highest risk. For everyone else, there is a lower chance of severe disease, but still a good idea to roll up your sleeve and get that COVID shot to protect yourself against COVID, similar to how you would get your flu shot to protect yourself against flu, because those shots will protect you against a severe infection, will also reduce the chances of long COVID. Remember, 400 million people around the world are suffering from the long-term effects of COVID, and each time you get a COVID infection, your chances of getting long COVID go up. The other thing to think about is that with COVID, we're learning more and more about what's called immune dysregulation. So it's a viral infection that weakens our immune system, and this may be why we're seeing so many other infections around the world. So another good reason to get your COVID shot. So the bottom line is that we have updated COVID vaccines that match the latest virus variant out there. If you haven't had COVID or a vaccine in the last 6 months, go ahead and get your COVID shot this fall.